I noticed a subtle trend with some of the fan art I got for My Manga Apple Black. A lot of people took a certain liking to one of the characters, Mikael, while slightly different from the others. I've even gotten comments from other artists within Saturday AM about how attractive he is. There's even a reader who ships Mikael with their Apple Black OC, and then shipping them with another Apple Black character, Angelo, in ways I could have never imagined. He's also one of the few characters who's gotten any kind of cosplay, besides Opal, who is also leading the popularity poll, which you guys can go vote for, links in the description, but that's not the point. Even in that popularity poll, Mikael is high up, and he's always been high up in all the polls I've ever done. Even the reviewers can't get enough.
Oh, also, side note, Professor Michael.
Once I saw them change their username, then it hit me. Dear God. Watch to the end of the videos I try to dissect why this character is so hot, according to the people, of course. And maybe you guys can learn a thing or two for your own characters, not just for the drawing side of things, but also how to write the characters. And stay till the end to what I believe is the secret sauce to make it happen: their appearance. As you can see visually, I'm drawing Mikael for the cover of Chapter 26 of Apple Black Volume 4. Do not miss that volume. But from the look alone, you can tell that my man is cool. Too cool for school, even though he's kind of a professor in the school. That's beside the point.
Professor Mikael!
Not a good look for the student body vice's record, Miss Wanmore. And you, how can you be able to teleport and still be tardy, Sano?
Scary.
Apologies, Professor Mikael. We just got a little lost.
There are many kind of characters that will solicit such a response from readers. But I think these kind of vibes get the most when the character just can't be bothered. People wonder, why? Why can't he be bothered? Is it me? I must find out. There's a reason all those girls chase Sasuke all over the place, and he couldn't give two bleeps. Now, some of that is anime manga nonsense, because that rarely happens. But the rest of it is grounded in some truth. Now, from a looking good standpoint, you could just reference good-looking people you can find all over the place. Actual models, actresses, celebrities, thirst traps all over the internet, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. Also the idea of symmetry with the face. But I also add maybe the rest of the body as well. But again, depends. Most of us, when we draw, we always try to draw our characters, especially the good guys, at least attractive to some degree, at least what we believe attractive is. But what we're trying to do here is a little bit extra, you feel me? One of the other things I've noticed with Mikael is maybe his edge, right? Look at the eyebrows. They're cut. Maybe it does something. It just looks like he has tattoos somewhere. The ear gauges. You know what's funny? In the last video where we did the time skip for Sano, maybe 3 years later, where everybody kind of liked his new drip, a few of the decisions I made with that design were based off of the idea that Mikael is some kind of mentor to Sano. And so Sano also has the little eyebrow thing going on, a nice infinity sign tattoo, which represents a whole host of other things, but a little bit of the gauge going on as well. Once I made those changes, lo and behold, we got this comment. I know what I'm talking about, people. Come get some game, get that extra sauce. All these things give the character story. You know, people look at the character and they want to know more. People with cigarettes just look like they have a story to tell. Trauma, maybe? Even his cigarette, which is the first wand we see him use, plays a role. Now, wands in Apple Black are essentially like tools that have been blessed in some kind of spiritual sorcery way that helps amplify the spells that sorcerers cast in the series. Example, if Cyclops from X-Men was a sorcerer in Apple Black, his visor eye thingy would be his wand. Mikael here controls smoke. There's more to it than that, but on some level he controls smoke. So the cigarettes are his wand and they play a role. So it's no different than what you would see in the Harry Potter, but it's not limited to just being the little tiny sticks. A wand could be any non-living object. Swords, staffs, boxing gloves, a guitar, pocket watches, a pair of dice, lenses in the glass, soles of your shoe, belts, you name it. You can already imagine that shonen vibe, shonen element played into it and how some of those tools will be used. If you're a fan of shonen manga, you know what I'm talking about. And I always ask, anytime I have to explain what wands are, I'd love to know what you guys' wand would be if you were within my world. What would it be, and what would you be able to do? But here his cigarette adds to that unbothered look. which I think levels up some of his attractiveness points. Now, looking at reference as well for characters that are universally seen as attractive, you can also use them as reference to make sure your character is somewhat fashionable, especially if it fits their character, but not too much if it doesn't. People want to be with him or be him, hence why making him likable. And then for people to want to cosplay. It's not an exact science, but I think these are all contributing factors. I mean, I didn't actually plan any of these things as much, but maybe I subconsciously did all these things, hence some of the results. Another thing I've noticed, even from an appearance standpoint, you still want to have a strong character design, then have all the elements that come with strong character designs come into play here, and I have several videos that dive into that. But to up the attractiveness points, there needs to be some mystery, you know? We want to know who this is, who hurt you, who did you hurt? What adds to this mystery? Does he have scars? Stuff that tells a story. But again, you don't want it to be too much, right? Even with character design stuff, there's always a focal point, but there should be stuff worth exploring outside of that. So if he's so unbothered, why? Too cool for school, acts like he doesn't care. It does level up those points if he did have a soft side, which in many ways have been explored here, but if you can show that visually, that would be nice. That hidden soft side prompts people to want to dissect that, learn, maybe bring him out of his shell, because they think they're the one. And all of this can help rise the popularity of certain characters. Spider-Punk in the latest Spider-Man movie is an example. And he wasn't even in the movie that long. And he's a fan favorite already. He has a lot of those elements that I'm talking about. Maybe not all, but some of them. The next major thing is the character's behavior. How you write the character, how they live their life, their actions, what they say, how they carry themselves. Readers notice all these things, and the same rules apply for the most part. Rules as in from the appearance side of things, but here we're focused more on the words, dialogue, monologue, their philosophy, like I said, how they carry themselves, and their actions. Mikael, from the moment we see him, is smoking right next to a no smoking sign, which tells us he don't give a bleep.
Alright, listen up. The name's Mikael, but personally, I couldn't care less what you call me.
The way he talks shows that he is not one to be bleeped with. Gives a brief speech to the class, letting them know that a lot of them are not going to pass, and he's okay with that. And from our perspective, we view it as this hard guy who's just hard for no reason. When in reality, we learn over time that he's lost people, and he doesn't want these kids to throw away their lives. And is one of the reasons why he reluctantly takes Sano under his wing. This main character, burdened with responsibilities that Mikael views as BS. And so in weird ways to protect Sano, he kind of shuts it down or doesn't believe him and things like that. Or doesn't believe in any of these mumbo jumbo prophecy nonsense. Because on one level he doesn't, but on a deeper level, because he wants to protect Sano. Spoilers, even in chapter 2, where he beats the brakes off of Sano, because he's still impressed by him and because he has that soft side, he still lets him pass on one end, maybe to be closer to Sano, to keep an eye on him, to make sure he's okay, but is also inspired by him to a little bit, which touches his soft side and lets him through.
You want to fix the world, kid? It's a lost cause. But go ahead, try. Just know attempting such a feat already makes you a dreamer. A lousy one, but one nonetheless. Lesson 3. Nightmares don't make you special. Everyone's got them. But not everyone can dream. So let no one dictate yours. Not even me.
If you read the chapter, you know what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, he's hard because he's soft. Pause.
His big heart can't bear to see someone so young bear such a burden. Hard around the edges, but a big softy on the inside.
All of it sums up to giving your character dimension. Now, all of your characters, at least most of them, especially the key ones, should have that element. But this is one that's usually present in the attractive ones. That's why characters sometimes who are maybe not that popular or not that key to a story, even if they're presented to be some kind of super attractive person in that world, nobody really cares like that. Characters are usually more liked and more popular when they're multifaceted, not one-dimensional. Even villains, especially when people can sense that the villain maybe wants to do good or is trying to do good, but just ends up doing bad stuff. If the audience can see the character at least attempt to do good, even if it's just a little bit, it usually makes them likable. Look at Barry, Walter Whyt, Dexter, Kira, at least the first half. if you notice, people end up liking Kira less the crazier and more psychotic he becomes. Because then, at that point, it's almost like that's his go-to. But in the beginning, where we saw where he was coming from and what he was trying to do, even those little moments where he didn't want to risk unnecessary life, those tiny things, they add up and just give a little extra dimension. If the character was a one-trick pony, it'll never work. And there are some attractiveness points hidden in there as well. So readers, ladies, aka 25% of my audience, am I right? Right? I'm right? I'm dropping game, giving y'all some of that sauce, right? Share your thoughts. And outside of the popularity poll I mentioned earlier, y'all can leave in the comments who you think the most attractive Apple Black character is to you. Sano, Opal, Mikael, let us know. Please do all the engagement stuff, especially if you're one of the 2.5 people that made it to the end of this video. Please help the channel out. Subscribe, hit the bell, like, comment. Go get Apple Black Volume 1 to 4. Don't miss it. And go watch the last video where I go into more detail about the character design I did for Sano after a 3-year time skip. It's Whyt Manga, and I'm Audi 9000.